Okay. Hi, guys. It's another wonderful week in our incubation program, Precision Agriculture Incubation Program, from the stable of Precision Seed Academy. Today, we are actually taking another perspective that we've actually started with. So get your friends uh, to join us. Get colleagues to join us because we have a wonderful topic today, and much more, we have a wonderful facilitator who's going to be taking us from a practical perspective on the application of satellite imagery in precision agriculture. You would want to learn how satellite or satellite technology would be of benefit to you as a farmer, as an agricultural professional, as agronomist, or perhaps you are actually making decision in the agricultural field. Yeah, this is actually a time for you. You want to actually learn about um, satellite technology, satellite imagery, and I'm super excited about welcoming our facilitator today, which is in the person of Ervin Choke. Thank you so much, Erwin. We are actually happy to have you once again. Now, so last week we had we did quite a number of class, both theory and for classroom and practical section on drone flight simulator. And I guess many thanks so much for those who came out, I mean, who gave us the feedback, very positive feedback. And yeah, we're looking forward to this week, Friday. We're going to be having on site, I mean, on the field, practical on the field. So join us to actually keep learning and how to actually leverage drone technology. This is one of the remote sensing technologies available. But today we are talking about satellite imagery. That's part of Earth observation. So we want to actually observe, Earth observation technological systems. And again, I need to stress this program is about the practicals, and we're actually bringing practitioners, innovators, leaders in the field, to use. So if you are not selfish, you would like to actually share this program, at least share the YouTube link, share the LinkedIn live link, to anyone, or the recording, by the way, to anyone to join us. Without further ado, as our culture is, we'll also be introducing, the organizers of this incubation program, which is Precision Seed Academy. And to do that is no other person than Joseph Adeyemi, who is the program administrator for PAIP. Joseph, are you ready?
Okay, so
Okay, please take it away.
thank you very much. All right, good morning, everyone. Good day, wherever you are from the world. Um, it's gladdens my heart that we are making a very huge progress. This is another week, and um, gradually, the Precision Agriculture Incubation Program is taking progress, and we are heading towards a close gradually. So before we go into today's section with our facilitator, Mr. Ervin Choke, so I would like to take us through the briefing of about Precision Field Academy, which is the organizer of this program. So at Precision Field Academy, our vision is to create a world where every young person, regardless of their background, has the opportunity to become a digitally savvy farmer or agricultural professionals, driving sustainable and equitable growth in their communities through the transformative power of technology. And our mission is to raise next gen farmers that are tech inclined and digitally savvy. So about Precision Field Academy. So Precision Field Academy is a social enterprise where we train and build the capacity of young professionals in modern and emerging technologies for the future of work and to lead with precision agriculture. So we believe in core three methodologies, which comes in terms of education and knowledge sharing, training and skill development, coaching and mentorship. Besides this, we have tech skill in focus. We are working on or which our curriculum training is tailored around. Number one is drone technology. We are leveraging the power of drone technology to change the narrative of agriculture, which comes in terms of pest management, uh, disease detection, crop health management, um, farm mapping, and a lot of deliverables around drone technology in agriculture. Also, we have GIS, that's Geographical Information Systems, and remote sensing, collection of data through the satellites, and also leveraging the power of data for remote drone technology for remote sensing. So this revolves around data collection around remote sensing. We also have data science in agriculture, which it's about the front end and back end of data, like getting plant data in terms of classification, evaluation, and all of these things around crop data. It's all about the data science in agriculture. We also have robotics and Internet of Things. We're in an era where robotics is really changing the game in terms of work, most especially in the delivery, um, we call it delivery world. Robots are versatile in different areas, and they also have their particular application in agriculture because works that are tedious, dirty, repetitive, robots can actually take on that and get it done for us. So also we have Internet of Things. Is talking about embedded systems. In place of agriculture, where we have IoT, sensors, and all of these things into agriculture. We have artificial intelligence and machine learning. So we're in the era whereby artificial intelligence is taking place in different fields, and it's really having an effect in agriculture as well, whereby we use algorithms or AI trained models to acquire data in farming in agriculture. AI trained models whereby you want to therefore plant classification, evaluation, and all of these things. So machine learning and AI are actually uh, system to use to get that done. And lastly is enterprise development. So our end goal is for every of our participant or every of our students who is passing through our training should be able to have at the back of their minds to actually create a profitable enterprise that is actually solving problems, real life problems in agriculture, whereby it comes in terms of uh, product development, development of product, maybe software or hardware development, for them to actually solve real life problem to optimize agriculture and advance the future of agriculture at well. So why do we do what we do? What's our motivation? We discovered there is a skill gap that really needs to be closed, and young professionals need to build skills on both technical and enterprise skill for the future of work in agriculture. And secondly, we note that observing the trend for the youth, it's not enough. So youth need to be included. They need to be an enabler or a player in the fourth agricultural revolution and not just mere observer. And also, for African agriculture to thrive, or agriculture on the global scale to thrive effortlessly, the power of technology needs to be harnessed. So technology is the key to unlock African agricultural potential. So why should you join us? We are creating the future we want in agriculture. Then we connect you to the information and the world of opportunities, which comes in terms of scholarship, internship, volunteership on both local and international scale for your career growth in precision agriculture. Also, we have skill development, which comes in terms of project collaboration, community interaction, workshops, symposiums and all of this. So lastly, we have access to coaching and mentorship from industry leaders and professionals. So at Precision Field Academy, we are building a community of young tech inclined and digitally savvy farmers and professionals. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joseph. Wonderful presentation as always. Yeah, confirm if I'm actually audible. I'd like to know, am I audible? Guys, can you hear me well? Can you hear me well, Joseph?
Yes, 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 I can hear you.
All right, I just want to confirm my audio well. So yeah, again at Precision Academy, we are building a community of young, tech inclined, and digitally savvy farmers and agricultural professionals. So please do well to actually invite your friends. So we are about to bring on the stage Ervin Choke, who is actually our facilitator today. So we are live, and I'm going to be reading a short bio, and after that, we're gonna, get him on the stage to share with us. So Ervin Choke is going to be taking us through practical application of satellite imagery in precision agriculture. So practical application. So emphasis on practical. And Ervin Choke is at the forefront of sustainable agriculture through the platform of Dyna Crop Space, offering precision services like prescription maps. I can also say, for example, you would also learn more about what they do with satellite imagery. By annexing satellite imagery and Earth observation data, it delivers actionable insights that drive precision agriculture. Its innovative approach propels the agricultural industry forward, enabling farmers to optimize their practices for increased efficiency and sustainability. So join me, welcome the business development manager at Dyna Crop Space, Ervin Choke. So Ervin, the floor is yours. Let's learn from you.
Thank you, Femi, a lot. Thank you for first of all, thank you for the invitation. It's a great chance, a pleasure to be part of this academy as a speaker. So thank you also for the warm introduction. Yeah, so today I prepared a presentation about how the space data is forming agriculture, precision farming. And I witnessed it. I was also watching your webinars before, and I saw that our colleague Corey, he had a really nice presentation about the technical part of satellites, and he explained very well how they are working. You can also have like the geospatial parts here. So what I want to talk about is more about use cases, success stories, and actually the practical parts of how do we use satellite data in some situations. So I will be presenting use cases, also but also like I divided the presentation into three parts. So first part, we're going to talk about trends, and also I'm going to at the end present the solution. Later, we're going to talk about the yield, the crop-related practices, and also I have a presentation about the soil-related practices. So for now, I would start with the precision agricultural trends. And can you just please confirm me that you see everything well, right? From the presentation. So I guess it means yes. So yeah, let me just present us. So we are a company, we are a space company that is working in space industry. So we are analyzing satellite data on many scales. The company name is Workman Space, and Workman Space stays behind the product Dyna Crop. So what we do, as I said, we are analyzing satellite data. We are based in the beautiful Brno region in the Czech Republic. It's in Central Europe. Myself, I'm at the moment in Serbia, which is a country at the Balkans. And as this is the south part of the Pannonian Basin, which is one of the main agricultural parts of Europe. So our main focus is in this region. What we are also doing a lot of field trials, R&D projects with the European Space Agency, and also with the Deutsche Telekom, which is a leader of telecommunications in the world. So we are also working with universities and a lot of farmers where we are actually validating our project, validating our product. The product is also available for commercial distribution, and we are active on 4 continents at the moment through partners on almost all of them. So, like with everything, I would start with a bit of history, as the history is the mother of all subjects. So, like, let's get back a bit to this agriculture. When we are talking about agriculture and digital technologies, I always like to switch back of a bit of history where it started, and then later on we're gonna talk how does it works. So, like, first, what I would talk, it was actually the agricultural revolution when we changed our lifestyles as human beings. We like to make jokes here in Europe that maybe we got screwed by the agricultural revolution because we switched from mammoth steaks and wild blueberries to sometimes it's beyond meat what is served. So, like, what actually happened here? But that was, of course, the natural process, which at the end secured us cities, and those cities secured us this great population that we have today on the earth. So then, when it comes to agriculture, we have like 4 phases of agriculture. The agriculture 0.1 was basically before the 19th century, with everything was done by human and animal efforts. So then it was not very developed, and the population. So, but again, it was enough for that way of population growth. Then the use of agricultural machines, when they started, it was basically the agricultural 0.2. Then we are having the agricultural 0.3 behind us, which is actually now it's already innovations, automatizations, and robotics in process that we are facing now worldwide. Due to some in some of the countries, and actually now it's happening the agricultural 0.4. So the use of exponential technologies that source intelligence on computers. So this is now already the era of big data, IoT, AI, and cloud computing, and so on. So I mean, all of these agriculture. So, like, let's say that this type of agriculture, the 0.1, is also today visible in some part of the world as the 0.2 and the 0.3. And the 0.3 is already getting integrated, but we are talking today about the trends, and the top trends that are happening now in some parts of the world. It's the 0.4. So when it comes to satellites, so the first satellite was actually launched, the first satellite for agriculture, let's say like that. It was launched. It was the Landsat, and it was launched in 1973. And you can see here the size. What was the size of such a satellite? So that was the first satellite that was collecting data for agriculture, basically. Then later on, at the 80s, GIS and precision farming showed up. It was a great combination. GIS started in Canada, and then later on it just switched to the rest of the world. And since then, precision farming is always and everywhere visible, that there are parts of the fields that are not homogeneous, and we treat the field based on a zone level. When the Copernicus program launched it, Sentinel, then like agriculture and generally agtech industry, wherever satellites involved, got even more developed, because we get access to relatively high resolution data on a great 3 up to 5 days revisit, which was for free. So we had to, not just, it's a tough job to pre-process it and to prepare it actually that it has a real life use case. And when it comes to today, so this is now one of the satellites that we are using is the Planet. So as you can see, like the size of it. So we switched from this to this, and this is getting 3 times 3 meter resolution and the daily revisit. So The top three trends what we are going to talk about today are basically these vertical integrations and embedded fintech, the war of the ag giants here, and the mainstreaming the variable rate technology. So the main challenges of agriculture these days are, of course, consumption growth and consumption growth. So it's more and more people on the planet, and more people on the planet want to eat more quality food. So the meals are more based on protein, and somehow, but lands we have what we have, and we have this one world where we can set up the best possible quality that we can. It's like a fact that we already made some big changes in the ecosystem, and doing them more because of farming can be really dangerous activity. Here are also the climate change. I mean, for the climate to be changed, for the climate to changing, it's a totally natural thing. But the thing is that it's not happening this quickly. That the climate is changing this quickly, and then the thing is that the adapting strategies sometimes fail, and when the other adapting strategies fail, there are many problems caused by in the food industry, especially in the farming. Then again, it's sustainable farming. So to try to balance this everything together, we are here in Europe, especially, and also in other countries, the strict laws are very the laws sometimes somewhere are very strict when it comes to farming, when it comes to pesticides, when it comes to generally everything. Like I was hearing great information the week before about Brazil, like how they are doing regenerative farming and how they have also very strict laws when it comes to farming and when they are farming in the areas of Amazonia. So, like on the farm, it's several levels, like how many percentage of wood you have to or forest you have to have on your farms, and also they are doing regenerative farming and so on. So the world is really activated in that part, and sustainable farming is a thing. But it's also hard then to execute. So to keep the same quality, to keep the same quantity, and doing it in a sustainable way, it's really challenging. Labor shortage. So like what we are facing now, it's like really the as I say again, especially here in Europe and North America, like people are running away from agriculture. It's a challenging work, it's a hard work, and benefits and the price. The market is unstable, unfortunately, at the moment. So the end benefits can be for a lot of work not that satisfying. So yeah, and also like workers who were working on the farms, they are really switching more and more to the factories. So, and also the educated labor cost in farming is at the moment not the most popular activity. So, and it's not that mainstream, but also the ages of the farmers. So the farming is one of the most oldest industries in the world, with an average here in Europe. Again, I'm going back because mostly talking about the European practices because we are doing here the most, but I'm also having some experience from other parts of the world. So feel free to jump in if you have any great insights and fun facts and stuff. So then the soil health again, the erosions are huge, the nutrients are losing rapidly, pollution is caused by those artificial fertilizers and stuff what we are putting in the field, and also the technological adoption. So it is a fact that we all do technology and we developed it, and it's really nice and shiny, and it makes happy everyone. But when it comes to integration can be sometimes really a long process due to the bureaucracy, due to the willingness of the farmer that maybe, but also then the cost, because to integrate something, it's an investment and it takes you time to learn it. So it's not going as technical people are expecting usually. How space is helping here? So what we do is we can increasing yield and effectiveness. So lowering costs of production, limiting workload, and supporting regeneration and mitigation. So Yeah, increasing yields, it's like one of the, we're gonna now talk more about this. So all of these things we're gonna have pointed out in the next presentation. So you're gonna have a great use case of all, like how do we focus on each activity. But like increasing yield, as I said, like it's zone treating. Zone treating on the field, so that each zone is getting different amount of work and inputs. So, and it can really, it's really measurable from satellites, lowering costs again, that we don't spread the same amount of fertilizer on the same field, when somewhere we can do even just 50%. So it's again limiting the more workload, because monitoring something remotely can really and constantly can really limit your workload, that you don't have to go in physical inspection every 3-5 days, but maybe just once a week. And also prioritizing the fields can help in that a lot, so that I don't know, 1 people can do visits instead of 3. And yeah, supporting the regeneration. It's again, when it comes to regenerative agriculture and everything, satellites are a great tool to use. The main user groups of the space data, who are, like, of course, the farmers, insurance companies, banks, food producers, traders, and also the governments and the enterprises. So when it comes to farmers, how farmers are using it, when it comes to precision farming. So that's the main use case when it comes to farming. They're using it on many scales. So in farm management softwares, as a service for precision farming, or maybe but also as a monitoring thing, statistics analysis. Then when it comes to insurance companies, so they are having very sophisticated ways of how they are using the space data, that they monitor the damages. They monitor what part, or like how big parts of the fields are actually damaged. So it was many cases that you have fields somewhere in, like, couple of hundred of hectares in a parcel, especially in South America when we talk about that. So and physical inspection there after hails is just impossible. So like satellites are a great tool, just to at least to showcase you the parts where where is the biggest, and like which percent of the field is damaged. The banks, when it comes to green loans, so banks are also using satellites and space data to integrate in their system and speeding up the loaning system, so that they analyze that data. They have historical data of all the fields, where they can through some algorithms, they can monitor really well what was there happening, and like what's the capacity of the field. The fruit producers, so traceability, supply chain monitoring, that's also a thing that that can be monitored. The traders, when it comes to commodity trading, so like for these two, it's again the one of the interesting things is like when it comes to crop detection. So like farmers can by satellites, it can be detected which areas have how many fields with certain crops, and based on that they can estimate approximately how what the market is going to look like. They can plan their investments and so on, and also the whole production. And when it comes to governments and enterprises, it's again a controlling tool. So like we are having great example the sign here in the Pannonian Basin. We are having lots of water shortages, and monitoring the irrigation practices is a great thing, because you can see it very well from the satellites. So the government can monitor all the fields at once, and go send inspection on the ones where the irrigation is actually restricted or it's not prepaid. So you can have everything in control. So like, but based on this, we can have 3 questions what we can ask now, like who has the highest benefits, who bears the highest costs, and who should pay. So like who has the highest benefits? Again, it's integrated. It's integrated by a scale. The system is very fragmented. and also the benefits and the costs are not equally spread. So like who would have the biggest benefits? Again, we would thought that is the farmers, but it's actually not, because as I said, like benefits are accumulated on a scale, and the larger the turnover is, the larger are the benefits. So the banks and the insurance companies at the end have the biggest benefits of all this. Who pays the most? Like who has the highest cost? It's the answer is then yes, the farmers, because they have the biggest. So they have the least turnover here, and then in the end, they have the most work with it, because they have to change the practices, so from conventional to new ways of agriculture. Then it's a lot of investment, and then also when it comes to integration, the integration is also a great part. But like just talk about an investment to execute precision farming here in our part of the world, it costs you plenty, so like up to a couple of million euros sometimes you have to pay for it, because like when we talk about the big combines, they cost 2, 3, 4, 500,000 euros easily. Then also the big fertilizers cost like that. The big sprayers, the fertilizers, they also cost half like 50,000 euros. And combining it all together with educated staff, with the services, it's a really big investment. At the end, you see the return of the investment, but like to start, it's really hard. And like the main question is at the end, like who should pay? Like of course that everybody should pay together, but like let's make somehow that we put together, like put in a balance the the benefits, like to basically split the benefits. So because you have integrated solutions, like one service at all, that's the aim now, so that we have all of this in one, so which going to lower the price and in the same time optimize the benefits. So there it will result that the fragmented market will get integrated, and as I said like before, that you're going to have as more things as possible in one place, so that you have a farm management software where you can apply for bank for green loans. There your farm management software will automatically monitor what you did from those practices. It automatically sends to the banks. The bank is getting you back the reply immediately, and everything is working with a very well structured AI system. So, and that's happening more and more in the world. So, and then the banks are giving better loans, because the period of inspecting those loans are shorter. They spend less money, so they can invest in other parts. Farmers, they don't use time, so they have everything on one place. They don't have to go on many places, and everything works fluently. The government can control all of them at once, so it can result with again less people involved, so less to pay. And yeah, these were what I was talking, the current tactic directions. So basically that we have everything integrated in one place, and that works great. For that, we will still have some time, because even the big companies are still working on it, and there are plenty of startups that are doing some part of the solution. So to put everything in one big picture is going to take us some time. Then when it comes to digital farming services, so that's again a topic that many startups are involved. So and it's again that we put all the things together. So we have the machine producers. So it's visible now that more and more machine producers, they started doing their own systems, own farm management softwares. Then we have the seed producers and the fertilizer producers. They are again doing together. They are also doing their own solutions that they provide to their customers, and also to make better production. One of the great examples is the Bayer Climate View. That's a very sophisticated software that is now on the market, and it's resulted by Bayer. So, and they are investing more and more in it. Then also, like, nothing can be done without digital clouding platforms. So AWS, also Microsoft is. We are witnessing that Microsoft is investing a lot of in agricultural startups. So to put this all together and form a great work environment. When it comes to I put this picture, it's David versus Goliath, because it's, again, we have ag giants who are and the corporates who are working on this very hard. So we have ACCO. They are one of the most powerful agricultural companies. If they are not the most one. That's a huge corporate that is also buying all the valuable companies around. We were witnessing also last year in Hanover, it was the biggest agricultural machinery fair, that they bought several companies just and integrated in their system. So they are really a leader in the world. Then we are seeing more and more integrations when it comes to John Deere, Starlink. They just made an integration that all the John Deere farmers, they have everywhere access to cloud, everywhere access to internet. So it's no need anymore to go home, process the data. You can process it on the fields wherever you are. And also, like, when we are witnessing that Planet, one of the biggest private companies when it comes to satellite constellation, they have more than 200 satellites in the orbit, and they started also buying companies that are focusing on agriculture. So Wandershot, they were a company that was focusing on irrigation and moisture monitoring. And you have Synergize from Slovenia. They also bought them, and they are also pre-processing data. So they were pre-processing Sentinel data, but mostly for agricultural purposes. So they are all of them are getting more and more integrated. And the third trend, what we are like, this is basically the main thing we're gonna talk about it during the whole course, is mainstreaming the variable rate technology. So it's, when it comes to awareness, it's already in many countries it's done. So at the beginning, that was the biggest challenge, that farmers and the industry got aware about that variable rate technology. And as you can see, like, this is a great example of variable rate technology, like how fields can be heterogeneous. So the red parts, it shows that it's way below average, and this super green part, it shows actually that it's way above average. So one field, many zones, each zone should be treated differently. When it comes to hardware, as well, I was saying, so the hardware requires big investments, but again, there are subsidies ongoing, and people started realizing, and not just people, but the industry players started realizing that the return of the investment, how it's getting quick if everything is optimized. So it's more and more investments in hardware, also in softwares. So software is a thing that must follow that hardware, and that hardware has to have a feature function to execute the software in which we're gonna create maps. So I'm gonna present you later how do we present maps for these softwares. And connectivity. So again, like better internet or no internet. So somewhere it's processed on the cloud, somewhere it has to take a bit more to be processed. But I mean, humanity is fighting that challenge, and what I was showing in just on the slide before, that John Deere and Starlink integrated. So in the US, it's not anymore a problem that they can process even very large amount of data on the fly. So what does this precision farming provides us? By some estimations, it's 5 up to 40% decrease in the inputs. Again, it really depends what of the activities we are using, because later again we're gonna have a great look how precision farming is spread in many fields. And when it comes to satellite data, with satellite data, you can also access several types of precision farming activities and provide really big value. when it comes to 5 up to 50% increase in yields. 5% doesn't sound big, but when you are talking about country level, like I can bet that 5% of US production of soya or corn, it can easily feed whole Mexico. So it's we are talking actually about big numbers, and not about just that they are at the moment right away they have to be big, but the aim is to maximize as much as we can. So even if we can with not much effort, if we can upgrade it for 2%, why would we not? We are all this addressing through our digital farming platform, Dyna Crop. So I'm going to present you a bit now more about our system. It's everything is happening in the cloud. We are analyzing the satellite data, sending it into like through our API. Farm management systems and applications can have access to satellite data. They can process it, and it's immediately ready to be sent in the tractor, which can later on execute the right operation. So what we are as a digital farming tool that is using daily satellite data and AI for enhanced precision and profitable data-driven farming. We are solving real world problems for also digital agriculture by ensuring accurate and timeless data that we are adapting and updating. Like they have digital agricultural softwares, they have usually many things to think about. So maintaining the system is one, adapting the system, updating it, implementing automation. So everything that work, all those features to work together, then to work with the user. So making like really affordable and, as I said, like user friendly, that everybody can understand it, and it really offers a great value. And at the end, it comes to technical sales, which know to be really complicated and long cycles. So they are already occupied by these problems, and then what we do, we focus on our backend API, which we developed, and then they can just integrate it. So because ensuring top quality performance across the board, so like to have IoT, drone data, satellite data, weather data, all developed in house, it's even very complicated for the major players. But like, let's not talk when you have like 20, 30, 50 people in the team, you just cannot. So how we do it is that we divide, everybody has his own strict focus. You make sure that your system works. Your partners just integrate your system, and they can focus on their clients and maintaining their system and just making it better. So collaboration is a huge focus in digital agriculture. How we do it? We do it through a couple of functions. So we have the API. The API has current and historical field data and also variable rate technology. Time series, graphs, analyzes. We are also integrating a cloud independent. We also have integrated the cloud independent soil moisture monitoring from Sentinel-1. And which means that the system has now at this moment 3 types of satellite constellations. So one radar based and 2 optical multispectral, Sentinel-2 and Planet. One is 10 meters times 10 meters resolution, the other one is 3 meters times 3 meters resolution. So, and daily revisit. Other functions what we and the endpoints is the soil sampling optimization. So based on this data, we are setting up zones in the fields where the sampling should be done. So we identify the proper the areas where the field is different. We divide it into targeted zones. So if the customer wants 1 hectare zone, we set him up like let's say the 10 hectare field, we set him up on in 10 1 hectare zones. Or when we are talking in larger scale, so we had orders of 100 hectares. So 100 hectares is the field, and they want to have 5 hectares each zone. So we provided them 20 zone field and they know exactly where to go and take sample, because sampling randomly doesn't make sense. And this sampling is the key, is basically the like when you are taking the blood control of the field. So once it is done, you have the chemical analysis, and based on that, you can plan your prescription maps and all the things. When it comes to long-term yield potential, so again, we are identifying the area inside of the field, the vegetation periods. Inside of those vegetation periods, you are identifying some zones. So where is the most stable zones during the 7 years period? Where is the least stable zones? And that it can be a very valuable layer to plan operations such as variable rate seeding, but also you can do soil sampling on it, variable rate fertilizing, and so on. And also a reporting system that provides high resolution data, early anomaly detection, and accurate yield forecast you can have out of it, efficient resource allocation, so it also shorts your time. It exactly shows you where are the right points for the soil analysis, for the inspection during the vegetation period. And it's very simplified data analysis. When it comes to process in development process, we have cloud independent monitoring. It's coming soon. So every 2 up to 3 days, we're gonna have data based on vegetation indexes. It's gonna be a mix of more satellites. So Dyna Crop, it's a timing operation and variable application, so that from satellites, some operations can be detected and recommended, such as that it's the right time for harvest. It's a great tool to use it to optimize again your operations and plan the whole workflow. Anomaly detection, irrigation prescriptions, weather monitoring. That's also parts that are value added tools in this system. And this was basically the first part. So where we talk about the technology we are providing and the trends. And after this, I would switch to I'm gonna stop sharing my screen just to change the presentation. And now we're gonna talk about crop related practices. Okay, so this is the second presentation about field crop best practices. So we're gonna cover an introduction about the fields, a demonstration, and then Dyna Crop. We're gonna skip that part as I already explained it in the previous video. And so like when it comes to why satellite data is useful, it's first of all, it's large scale, so it's regular and frequent, and you can have you can have a lot of data for all the fields in the world. So so when we talk about sentinels, you have data from 2017. It's a large amount of data that you can use for many activities, and it's not just large scale that in a temporal, but also spatial, so you can monitor the whole world and set up maps. So it's a really valuable thing. That is global coverage, so it's you can access data anywhere, anytime. So you can sit in South America and you can easily monitor your fields in Ukraine. So more information, satellite data, it holds variable information, like in which like finds use in various different agricultural practices. So we talked about it. So basically from fintech, banks, insurances, precision, and now we are at precision farming. And one of the part of it, like it really sounds that satellite data and space data that it is very expensive, but industry, when we talk about the industry, this is one of the most affordable data sources you can get. So when it comes to like especially when we are talking about in situ aerial data and so on. I mean, the resolution is now getting better and better and cheaper and cheaper. Now we have like for really affordable price daily revisiting 3x3 meter resolution. Still but for we are talking in agriculture. In agriculture, those resolutions, and especially in farming, that's really a valuable information, and you don't need almost at all smaller, like high resolution, like when it comes to for major crops. So the use cases are variable rate fertilizing, variables. So these are the use cases. Again, I'm gonna go back. That I'm gonna mostly talk about what we are doing and how we are doing here in the Pannonian Basin. So every continent, every region has its own. I mean, of course, because of the species that we are farming, but. I'm going to talk today mostly about major crops that we are doing. So it's maize, soy, wheat, and so on. So these are the main crops we have here. So and what we do with them is variable rate fertilizing, variable rate seeding, crop protection, variable irrigation, crop growth assessment, soil sampling, soil and tissue sampling. So we are not doing this by ourselves. We are always working with local partners, but we are providing data sets for as part of these operations. So when it comes to variable rate fertilizing, so to execute that in a proper way, you have to have your another data sources and also software and then the hardware that's going to execute it. So we are providing one layer here. So when it comes to trends in precision management of the field crops, so it's increased the use of variable rate technology. We are witnessing now in the last couple of years. So seeding and plant protection, the targeted spraying, it's getting more and more popular. Learning for the first adopters, because the first adopters, they were those revolutionary farmers who started doing it, I don't know, like from my region here, maybe 12 years ago, 15 years ago max. And it was very few of them. And now they are now doing like really well, and they serve as a great example to the others who want to start it. They were started the system. They were investing slowly, and after a couple of years, the results started showing really well. So like optimization of price, so it's always experimenting is always an ongoing thing, and harnessing the unused potential of the gathered data. So like, again, it's good to have as much data sources as we have. So if we have the yield monitors from the combined satellites and the UAV soil sampling results or the end sensors, as much we have, that more precise the agriculture will be. So we're going to talk today about a demonstration field in the Czech Republic. So it's a 29 hectares field, and it's like really typical field here with crop rotation, spring barley, corn, and winter rapeseed. The soil type we have here is black soil or Chernozem. Elevation is about 300 meters. And the climate is temperate oceanic. So we are in Central Europe, and we have like this climate is characteristic by 4 seasons. So we have and also like season-based rains. So one of the things what we did is the pre-season nitrogen. Like the first thing is always the pre-season nitrogen fertilizing. So variable rate nitrogen applications before or at sowing or the planting. So there are now a couple of couple of ways how this variable rate, how the nitrogen application can be done. I'm not an expert in it, so I will not go deeper into it, but some of them, they are doing it once a year. So, I mean, before seeding, some of them during the seeding, some of them are shifting it to 3 parts, so like once in the mid-season, once before, and something like that. So the solution, how it was done, it was calculated the long-term yield potential for the past season. So this is the feature that I was showing just before. So that we take several seasons, we counted the average on that field, and based on that we took out the best performing and the worst performing zones and in between zones, and based on that was accessing the field heterogeneity and the zone stability. Then again, the experiment with the different strategies. So like who's gonna do it how? So will we give more fertilizers in the bad zones or more in the good zones? So it's again farmer to farmer. Everybody has, or organization to organization. I'm not an expert in it, as I said. Everybody has their own tactic. And then the end result is basically to create that suitable prescription maps based on the strategy and based on the zones, and we are ready to go. The yield potential, it looks like this. So this is the field. This is the long-term yield potential, so from 2018 to 2022. But as you can see, in between, we had spring barley. It was one part. This means that when I'm talking about 2018 spring barley, it means that for the whole season of the whole vegetation season, this is one crop per season, like usually. And it's like when it's the vegetation period, during that vegetation period, the satellite is taking images every week, and we gather those images, we process them like in the layers, and based on that you get the zone stability. So this is here somewhere, sometimes we have more than 20, 30 images with the higher resolution satellite data, even more, 100 images easily. So we all process them, and based on that we find the stability. So then the seasonal characteristics, as you can see, that not every season is the same, and not every crop is in the same season setup. So some we have spring barley, but we have also winter rapeseed the next year. So the sowing dates are different, and then everything is different. So the zone stability is also different. But this is the long term what we wanted to reach out. So we're gonna use it for our variable rate fertilizing. So now when we are creating the prescription map for the fertilizer, there are many things to consider here. So as I said, we provide a layer, but there are also crop needs, the strategy, the zone characteristics, historical yield data, what was the previous crop, soil management. Then we have the soil sampling data. That's the most important part, especially when it's done according to satellite-based zoning. Then which is going to be the fertilizing quantity, weather forecast, experiences and objectives. And it usually looks like this, that we have this map, and in the red zones, there was 110 kilos put, because this was the strategy that they are anyway bad zones, so let's not put big effort in it. And then the central zone, they wanted to like put more inputs, and based on those inputs that they're gonna have bigger yields. So it was 150 kilos per hectare in these zones. And then the green zones are anyway good, and the soil sampling showed that they are already over fertilized, so we kept a lower base. There are also the field trials we were doing. So these were our field trials. We also set up this was a field in Czech Republic, so we set up the control strips. The red zones, they were 117. Then the yellow zone, it was 130, and 134 was the green zone. So as you can see here, it was the opposite. So the farmer wanted to put in the good zones more fertilizer. But there are also more seeds and stuff, so they're gonna have those zones will be way more fertile. and provide way more bigger yields. The advantages are plenty, but let's say couple of. So delineate strong and weak parts of your fields, and then you treat it like a zone-based treatments before we go to plant-based. So yeah, you are applying fertilizers according to the soil and the crop needs, because sometimes, like the fields, it's many situations that farmers go out, take the sampling, and then let's say that here in the green zone it's over fertilized, and the red zone or the yellow zone it's under fertilized. So but they are putting the same amount at the same time. So the parts where is over fertilized is double damage. So it's way enough fertilizer there already in the field, saturated. Then you put more on it, so it's killing the soil, and they are also wasting money when it comes to that part. So why would just not skip that part and put that amount here where it's under fertilized and aim somehow to balance all the zones. Yeah, so like and it's increases yields then up to 20% from these examples, but sometimes it's also, and the reduce of the fertilizer assumption is 5 to 10%, but I mean once it's practiced for years it can be even more, 30% or 40%. And like when we get back to the prices which were last year, it's really significant savings on the pocket, but also environmental. And yeah, it was done in March. So all of this operation was done in March. So now we are talking about seeding and the planting, which was done in May. So the variable rate seeding, we also access the long-term yield potential for it. Soil moisture variability, so it's also important for the seeding when it's done and how. And based on this and also the other data, it was designed a crop-specific prescription. So as you can see, so the soil moisture plays a key role. So this was a dry season based on canopy water content, and again, this was the long-term yield potential. So this is just from one season, and this is from all. So if we take that the moisture was like this. So this is based on the moisture index, and this is based on the yield potential. When we adjust these two, we get this data, and this was actually used for the variable rate planting. So this is also a feature of our system. The name is zonation mixer. So you can take several or two zone maps and put them together. So the output will be very different. And this is the end map what we got. So how, again, the strategy was that in the red zones, they are bad anyway. So however much you put their seeds, they will not get more yields. But also, like where the zone is bad, you tend to have there less seeds, and because of the density. So to stabilize somehow the yields. And where are the good zones? In the good zones, you can put more seeds. The zone itself is good, and also the density it's better when the crop is more dense. So the advantages, again, they are plenty, but let's just talk. So the optimized plant population in your field. So it's really what I was talking about, the density, that you give the plants more air in some parts, and in the parts where it's anyway growing well, you put a big focus on it. It really reduces risk of droughts, flooding, and diseases. Optimize rates then saves up 5 to 10% of seed, and improve yield 5 to 7%, which is an amazing result. And theoretically, if you take like this, it's 31 euro per hectare, which at the end it came out as a true fact. And yeah, so like again, we were talking about the expensive equipment, that if this is done on large scale, and good enough, then it can pay out in 2 years on 400 hectares. Then we have April, May, June, October, depends what crop is there, the in-season fertilizing and growth regulator application. It can be done variously. It can be done through drones or the plant growing or satellites, but satellites are also a useful part that you observe your field inside the vegetation period. So this is the growth monitoring. This is the current performance, and this was actually the expected. So this was the yield potential we were taking before. This is the long-term yield potential, and this is actually how it was, how the field was behaving on the 26th of April. So what do they do now? What do they do? How do they access it? It's they observe it from the satellite. They identify the critical zones, and based on that, they make the prescription maps, of course, with some their own local knowledge, agronomical, and the characteristics of the field, and the vegetation sicknesses, if there are some. So they take it all in count, but then they can just target this area. You see that this area is healthy, and the red color, it means that it's not good. So instead of spraying the whole field, he can just adjust the spraying in this part. When it comes to soil moistures and IoT, that's another use case which is used in precision farming, and that's again, we take really long term, like from 2015, the satellite-based soil maps, and then we set up. This is also a long-term moisture map. Based on these long-term moisture maps, we set up the stations. So as you can see, this is one zone, second zone. So we were putting like all in total, how many? It was like 15 IoT sensors, and they were tracking soil moisture. And the aim is to prove why the blue is blue, because from the satellites you get absolute relative numbers. So it will not say you that you have that many liters in that part of the field, but it's gonna say you that that part is drier or that part is more saturated by moisture than the other. So that's how we set up the sensors, and it's still in development. We are checking, and then results we will, I think, so publish later on this year, like why actually the blue is blue and why this is brown. So these are our sensors that are collecting the data all the time, and the aim of this is basically to leave a multiple out model that will serve for precision irrigation. These are some examples of the precision irrigation. These are the pictures monitored from satellites for certain periods. So this is the pivot irrigation, and these are some of the how they can be processed and how you can set up your irrigation model based on the equipment you have. But this is something like, let's say, relevant here, that you just set up and it's in these zones to give less water or more water. This is a more complex. It's really way harder. So this would be the crop related practices. Femi, you are here? So should we continue then? Are you up for a small break maybe, or should we continue now with the third presentation? What do you say?
Yeah, I think we can continue because it's let's continue.
Okay.
With the next presentation. Thank you.
In the meantime, do we have any questions? I'm happy to answer.
Okay, yeah, if that's fine for us to get on with questions that we have here.
Yeah,
So, yeah. So Joseph is asking, how can satellite imagery data contribute to crop protection?
So as I said, it's not contributing, but it's just providing an extra layer to it. So we are not agronomists, we are geospatial experts that are analyzing data and providing to them. So like what they do, is they take our data in account, and based on that, they are setting up the plans for crop protection. So all these field
Okay.
trials which are done, they are done by our partners, farmers in the Czech Republic. So it's not our fields. We were just providing them the geospatial and satellite know-how.
All right. All right. All right. So there is a next follow-up question. The next question from him. It says, I think whether it's a factor that can affect satellite data collection. If yes, how do you navigate with this factor? I think this is a very critical question.
Yes. So yeah, satellite. That's a fact that clouds are the biggest enemy of optical satellites. So optical satellites, so it's low orbit, medium orbit. So, but all the clouds are in between the land and the satellite. So how we do it? We access that problem that we integrate satellites with more revisit. I mean, when you have, like, let's say seasonal, here in some parts, like when you have seasonally that you have 3-4 months of rain, then there is almost always no chance to get access to it. But when you are having partially cloudy days, then you have local revisit. So the satellite is every day taking a picture of the same land. And then it can have 30% clouds, 40% clouds, 50% clouds. What we do is we filter those clouds with machine learning and AI. So that's, but again, it can be like up to 30% cloudness. So that's one way how we access it. The other way how we approach it is that we are now developing an algorithm that's going to take together Sentinel-1, which is a radar-based data. Radar satellites, they don't fear clouds, so they go through clouds, but they are providing you different type of data. It's really hard to analyze, really hard to read, and really hard to present. So we are putting these two data together, and based on that, we're going to provide vegetation indexes. It's a very challenging task. We are working on it for 2 years, and maybe during this year we're gonna have our first presenting based on that. So there are a couple of approaches, and as I said, we are working on it. But where you have clouds for 6 months, there is no chance to have data. It's just how it is.
Yeah, I guess what you're working on is radiation. What do you call that again?
Sorry.
You mentioned that you're working on something. I want to actually clarify that that technique or technology that you're working on.
It's a cloud-free monitoring system, if you ask. So it's like basically putting together two sources of satellite data and doing some kind of prediction. So the name, like the first launch was Leica, and now we are working on Alice project. But I mean, we have it on our blog, and it's written down. It's written everything in that blog post. But I'm also happy to connect and to put together my colleagues who are working exactly on that. If you are more interested in some technological part.
Yeah. I also learned that I think I forgot the name. Is it XAR or something like that? Something like a radar or technology as such. It does not give. It penetrates into the cloud, into the cloud, and then gets information on the head. But I read that or heard that it does not necessarily give vegetation indexes because it's not imagery based. So I think I still need to read more on that.
It can be radar based, but or
radar based.
Something.
Yeah. Okay.
But generally, AI and the machine learning is a miracle. So who knows to process data through it? It's gonna be more and more those kind of solutions. So when it comes to predictions and stuff.
I think I can see where AI and machine learning can actually be of help in that regard. I get you now.
I mean, it's many trainings, so you are training the model, so based on time series, based on predictions, based on last year data, based on radar data. So It's a
Yeah,
really complex.
yeah,
It's really complex.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think interpolation for missing data can actually be something too.
Absolutely, interpolation also is also
Yeah,
yeah.
interpolation. Yeah, yeah. I just it just clicked. Thank you so much for sharing. There's another question here. If you like us to go ahead, Bo, or we
Yeah,
go
we can
to the
answer
next
one more and
question.
then we see like
All
just
right,
to
perfect,
let's
perfect.
make it a bit interactive.
Good.
Let's
Good. Okay, so
let's see.
I think what you call oh hi, thank you so much for joining again. Always enthusiastic to see your comments and questions. So how
Mhm.
can we use soil moisture index, I guess, to predict plant stress
Yeah.
and amount of moisture required via irrigation? I think you mentioned something around that. You would
Yeah.
like
So
to,
like again,
yeah.
as I said, so now what we are doing, we are to the required amount of, so how can we predicting plant stress with with soil moisture index, it's gonna, it's not, because it's for it's for the soil, so it's monitoring the upper part of the soil, and to have great
Mm,
results the part cell should be uh, mm, vegetation free. Let's say that ndvi is less than zero point 0.3. So that's the first step for the SME to show the right results. So just to make that soil moisture index, it's from Sentinel-1, so it's radar-based data. It's totally different type
well,
of data than we get from Sentinel-2, which is
yeah,
an
yeah.
when it comes to moisture required via irrigation, from satellites, we don't give irrigational prescriptions because it would be a
Mm-hmm.
very brave thing. So, and then again, I'm saying we are not agronomists. And from satellites, you are getting virtual and relative numbers. It shows you on the
Mm-hmm.
field where it's more and where it's less saturated by water. So
Mm-hmm.
what we provide is a layer, an extra layer for the irrigation recommendation. For the irrigation
Mm-hmm.
recommendation, there is also needed real-time data, then like from IoT, then soil structure, plenty of other data is required. But like again, as more precise you want to have the irrigation, that more data you should have from all the sources. And we
Mm-hmm.
are providing this one from the satellites. So, but I mean, if you are interested in more to dig in deeper, please get in touch with me. We are having partners uh, across North Africa who are doing really well irrigation prescription models and stuff. So,
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we can actually go straight to the other
okay,
presentation if you are ready.
yeah, just just a second. We want to find the. Okay, so this one will be the last one, and no. Okay, so this one will be more will be on a focus for the soil related practices. So it's, I have 20 something slides, 27, but I'm gonna try to make it uh, as quicker and but most understandable way. So the best practices, yes. So what we do: soil and satellite monitoring, intro demonstration. So the soil sampling, soil moisture, and standing water detection. So we're gonna talk today about this. Uh, the soil is the only thing we have, like and it's not reusable. So we really have to take care of it because it's limited and it takes 1,000 years to produce 2-3 centimeters of soil. When we are doing this rapid and aggressive agriculture, it's just destroying it. So we really have to focus on it. Soil degradation, like it's threatened 3.2 billion people, so it's almost half of the world population is threatened by soil degradation. 33% is already degraded, maybe even more, and 90% of soil could be degraded till 2050 if we don't care of it. So, and the erosion is another thing that's, so soil is affected by on many fronts. These are the sources, by the way, from the UN's report. So what we're going to talk about: soil moisture monitoring, soil salinities monitoring, soil erosion, soil organic carbon, soil sampling, and soil pH mapping. So these are the parts that we're going to cover. So this is again a field in the Czech Republic, 24 hectares. It was crop rotation, spring barley, maize, white mustard. So fluvial soil and temperate oceanic climate. So when it comes to soil sampling, what soil sampling is basically collecting the soil samples to analyze the nutrient status and the physical properties for better management. So low of the minimum, so that we treat it. We touched that theme before, but that's basically that every zone gets exactly what it is. But to have that, you have to have a really detailed soil sampling map. And so the soil sampling, it requires some systems. Let me just say what it means. Yes. So how we can do the soil sampling? It's a couple of approaches. One, it can be done by a zone based on yield potential. So again, we were talking about yield potential, that you take the zone stabilities, and based on those stable zones, you plan the soil sampling. So I'm going to show you maps just in a second. So it's this basically, yes. So what we do, we take the yield potential, and it shows high heterogeneity and low zone stability. So if the yield is unstable in zone and the heterogeneity is big, that means that the soil itself on this field is totally heterogeneous. And as we can see here, so from 2018 till 2022, every vegetation season was different, totally different. At the end, we get out this map, and then, like, if the sampling would be done, then, for example, again, this is 30 hectares. So to go and sample it randomly, it doesn't make sense. To take grid sampling every hectare, it costs a lot. So what we did is that we divided into these zones, and each of these zones, a couple of samples are to be done. Soil organic carbon, that's also a great approach. So it's again, some practices are using this, some practices are using that. At the end, the important thing is that the zone is zone. So that field is different because of something. However, you set up, not however, but like if you set up the zones in a proper way with, then it's gonna show you differences, because the differences are evident. And as we can see here, this is based on the soil brightness and the reflectance of the sun from the it's like some iron dioxide. So this was a terrain. We used soil organic carbon observation index, and then based on that we set up the zonations. So again, when the sampling is to be done in these zones, in each zone, it's done differently. So again, no random access. And then we have this soil sampling strategy. So like, how are we going to do the soil sampling? Will we do like this? Then this is one sample per area. For example, this is 1 hectare per field, and then 1 sample per 1 hectare. And then we divide the map, and it's done in a very nice systematic way. This is also a great approach that here is very common, the zigzag pattern, that you go through each zone and take in the most representative parts. Why is this good? It's good because it's done through some order, so it's not randomly done. And when it's done through order, you can immediately use these maps. So because how it is the process. So the soil, we do the satellite data analysis. Then they go to take the samples based on these routes. When the samples are done, the samples are analyzed, they are put back into digital format, and you can use the digital format to set up the map for variable rate fertilizing. And then after that, it goes to the machine, and the machine goes out and treats each zone separately. Or not separately, but as it is as it is commanded based on this. So like, yeah, but satellite, of course, that there are some other things to consider. So like soil types, rotation, crop rotations. Well, every 6 months after manuring, yeah. So like that should be avoided. Fertilizing application. So it's always done before the fertilizing application or after the vegetation period is also a good period to be for the soil sampling to be done. So like this is a great example actually. So the advantages. So this was a regular soil sampling, so that it was no done satellite based monitoring. So we got this map, and when we set up the zones, so when we planned the sampling through by the zones, this is what we get interpolated. So as you can see, it's this part, this part, this part. So at least 30% the accuracy is better. 30% accuracy in this, it means a lot. So first fertilizer consumption reduced by up to 10% in the very beginning, but later it can be up to 30. Environmental protection is a huge thing, so that we don't spread the fertilizer that is not supposed to be there. And generally, why would we produce that much fertilizer when we don't need to? Crop performance and also the yield increase is very significant. Soil moisture, that's again really vital part of agriculture. So what we do is we provide 20 meter resolution long-term soil moisture maps, soil moisture index time series, and comparison of current versus average soil moisture. So as we can see here, the soil moisture correlated with the terrain. So where the terrain was higher there, so it was basically slope to down. So here the moisture was less, and as we were closer to this part here where it was lower, there the moisture was more and more. So it's, as I said, a radar-based index. So we went over this. It's a radar-based index, independent from clouds, available every 2 days in Europe, but now it's every 5 because one of the Sentinel ones got shut down, and we are expecting another one. So then every 2 up to 3 days, wherever worldwide. This is a great thing that we were doing the soil moisture map for this particular date, 4th of April, the year before, and this was we take also the measurements from a local weather station, meteorological station, and this was the participation. So like whenever it was raining, the soil moisture was rising. So what we did, we take this, then we take the time series from this field in the particular time. So from the 1st of March till December, and we put them together. So, and it's really, really nice to see that whenever it was raining, the soil moisture from the satellite, this is so the blue is the satellite measurement, and this is from the real time, the meteo station. Whenever it was raining, the soil moisture index showed us growth. So it's really synchronized, which means that it works and it's a useful tool. We were also doing a lot of measurements. We also take out we are having our sensors dig in the fields around Czech Republic. And as you can see, so like here we were setting them up. It knows to be very messy because our colleague, he almost stuck there, so we had to change his tires to take down the mud and everything, and also hear how much mud was when these fields were ongoing, when these tests were ongoing. And again, the advantages. So like it's also the right predictions can say fertilizer, seeds also to find the right date when to seed. It can also save in that activity drought, drought mitigation, water savings, 15 up to 20%. Nowadays, the water is a very big treasure, so we really have to keep also take care of it and increase the crop yields, of course. Standing water detection, this is also a great thing what we can see from the satellites. Are the fields flooded? I mean, especially in some parts of Asia where we have millions of hectares of under ice. So this is a great thing to monitor for very affordable pricing. So you can get by one API call the actual map of standing water notification in the fields, also available for underwater vegetation, and you can see also the flooding history assessment. How you see it? It's two. You can see it in two ways. So with the NDVI, it's not available under vegetation, but then we have water in wetlands, 20-meter resolution, and available under vegetations, and identifies also water, log, and soil. So these are I was talking here about a couple of indexes. We have like 27 indexes in the system. The indexes are on based what the satellite is analyzing. You can read about them at our website, but as I said, you can also get in touch anytime and talk more about the which index is for what. So this is how the standing water detection looks like. So this is NDVI and versus water in wetlands index. So this is a water body. So as you can see, it automatically detects the water, and here it detected that it was water in the field. And then again, the water frequency. These are also maps based on that. So it's here it was we had like a slope, and then the water was all the time staying here, and all the indexes related to water were showing that here. But also it was a good zone from before, because so it's not good when the water level is high, because then it got flooded. But usually when the water level is not that high, then all the good things from the field, they go there, and there's always water and always organic matter and fertilizers. So that's the most stable zone. This was an example of rice fields in Thessaloniki. So this is a time period over from 2021. And here the dates are changes every 5 days. You can see like how the fields was behaving. So beginning, mid-season, after season, and again, beginning, mid-season, after season. So yeah, I try to be fast. As you can see, like we are, this is all our fields registered to our platform worldwide. So we are present everywhere. We are having commercial partners for 4 continents: Europe, Asia, Africa, and South America. But they are also working in other continents. So I'm encouraging you to get in touch with us, and we can together find the right fit for your use case and make this world a better place. I'm really thankful for your attention. You can scan the QR code, and it will take you automatically to our webpage there, and feel free there to explore in the documentation, also in the blogs, or you will have there to find places where the book meeting with me. I'm really happy to discuss any of these topics deeper. On LinkedIn, you can find me as Ervin Choke, and feel free to send me a message or WhatsApp anytime. So once again, thank you for the attention, and thank you, Femi, for the organizing this event.
Yeah, thank you so much, Erwin. That was a really good presentation. Thanks for sharing your knowledge with us. I mean, so smooth, so smooth, so smooth.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah. Okay. Let me look for if we have comments. Thank you so much, Audio Sunday, for joining in. Uh, hmm, okay, I'm just trying to scan through the comment section and see if we have questions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean, let me just ask you this two
Yeah, yeah.
questions.
Go for it.
Yeah,
Go for it.
yeah. So,
I have time, so.
yeah, okay. So today we're talking about satellite imagery. You've actually taken us to how satellite imagery can help us benefit from variable rate technology application or variable rate application. We can benefit through satellite imagery from soil sampling, enhancing soil sampling, and also crop monitoring, particularly for precision agriculture. And I mean, stressing on variable rate application is actually, crucial when it comes to precision agriculture. Specific applications, targeted applications to um, understanding and homogenizing our feed into similar units that we can manage or manageable units, and to the end that we can be able to manage resources, compared to conventional saving resources. We've shown us quite some examples, some figures as regards water use efficiency, as regards in terms of irrigation monitoring, as regards yield also. Uh, yeah, I want to ask how, looking at the African context, that we have a lot of smallholder farmers, uh, how can or is this technology available for the smallholder farmers, those who actually have farms, not that you might also want to share with us the challenges of this technology so that, young minds here can be able to understand, and, if we have a solution already or if we can come up with with solutions, yeah, that would be great. So the first question is, how can the smallholder farmers, looking at their scale of production, benefit, and what are the various challenges that we have limiting the adoption or the acceleration of this technology, the satellite crop monitoring technology? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for the question. So for the first question, when it comes to smallholder farmers, so I was now talking about mostly use cases, as I said, like what we do here. But smallholder farmers, I would encourage everybody to get in touch with Rural Farmers Hub.
Mm,
So they are our partners, and they operate in Nigeria. So it's a Nigerian company that is providing information for smallholder farmers. What I can say, so we don't work with much smallholder farmers here, but like there are couple of farms that here in the neighborhood and also like in countries and clusters with who we are talking, and it's basically they are setting up some centralized systems where they are hosting smallholder farmers and they are providing them some informations based on satellites, weather data, and so on. So smallholder farmers to get benefits from satellite data, I think so that's integration with each other, integration with other systems, and generally, so like we were now here talking mostly about precision farming, dividing the fields, but when we are talking about smallholder farmers, there is not much to be divided. So what we can, like how I see is that uh, systems can give recommendations at least. So to integrate satellite data next to other data sources,
mm,
weather, and so on, and local know-how, and based on that to provide information on when it would be a good time to irrigate, do the harvest, so on, so on.
mm,
So I unfortunately I see it just in this way. So I don't know. I'm not really expert in this. As I said, we don't have much experience with it, but I would say integration with on a local, regional scale, municipality scale, and yeah.
Yeah. Integration, you say. I want to actually note that down. Integration with other sources of data that can actually help them to make sense of of their farming, helping them to take position. Truly, we cannot actually deny the fact that technologies are actually, or the major benefit is to actually help us scale our production, and yeah, it's truly it's so sad that we are trying to, sad or not sad, it's the reality. We are trying to adapt the technologies that we have, to help farmers, and I think our own goal as technology or provider is to help them scale their production and also scale their productivity. It's very, very important. We cannot chase more. Okay, there's a question here from from Kola. Kola is asking, what software do you engage for your analysis? These are two questions. Yeah. Okay, what software do you engage for your analysis? I know you have answers for that. Please define the full meaning of NDWI. This indices, by the way, WIW. And can these analyses predict flood-prone area or waterlogged area? That's good questions. I like to hear answers.
So I'm going to send you in the chat a link to all the indexes here. So
Okay.
thank you for the nice feedback. And so what are the software you engage for your analysis? So we are having a couple of, in Nigeria we engage with Rural Farmers Hub. So that's one, because that's our business model. So we are not working with the farmers because we are building APIs. So we are working in the backend. Dyna Crop is a cloud-based backend system that is analyzing satellite data. So what we do is we integrate with local farm management softwares. And when I say local, it's local on our local level. So in Eastern Europe, Central Europe, Africa, then also Brazil, India, and then so we always have a bridge between us and the local farmers, and that's that local software provider. So as I said, in Nigeria, it's Rural Farmers Hub. It's East Africa. In East Africa, we have CBEX. So they are working in irrigation. They are using various data sources for irrigation management. Then, like, we have plenty of European companies on board, which are either doing soil sampling, either doing recommendations, variable rate fertilizing, or they are just pure farm management softwares. So I hope so that I answered on the first question. And when it comes to the full meaning, so the NDWI is the NDWI. It's the normalized difference voter index. It's available both from Planet and Sentinel-2 in our system, and it's detect the surface water and allows the measurement of surface water extent. So we are talking here about relative numbers. It will not show you exactly that you have 500 liters of water on your field, but it's gonna really nicely show you the spatial part where that water is located. And when it comes to water in wetlands, that's WI. The name is water in wetlands. It's similar to normalized difference water index. It's a bit modified. So when it's the thing with that is that this is like more developed, because this can also detect the the under vegetation water. So we have a lot of indexes. That's usually like, and we are also working with our partners together for a long time. Sometimes the integration sometimes takes 2, 3, up to 6 months, because we are finding the right use case for that. So like we want to have your ground truth knowledge, and then we have our geospatial and remote sensing knowledge, and to find the ideal cases, ideal indexes for ideal cases of you. So that's the.
Yeah. Okay. Um, Thank you so much for responding to that question. Uh, we also have, yeah, and I think let me. There's is there a question or a wish? Let me just put it up and I quickly address it. Thierry is saying I'm jealous of this guy. Imagine how happy their farmers are. Okay, we can also actually drive their company to Rwanda. I mean, this is why it's actually here. And you necessarily do not need to buy their company to actually enjoy the benefit of the innovation that we are providing to space. I mean, satellite imagery in space. It revolves around the head and the data you want to actually collect. You can actually collect the data, get the data from them or the satellite images from them, and we can be able to provide a solution to the farmers in Rwanda or any part of Africa. So I am in Nigeria, and the services is actually being used in Nigeria through Rural Farmer Hub, which is also a partner or a French company. So who is dealing with satellite images. So this is a remote uh, technology. Okay, that's why we call it remote sensing. So we don't necessarily have to be there. And I know there's a lot of work around remote sensing, particularly more in the East Africa. I think they've got more of Earth observation guides in East Africa. It looks to be like that because I have more of my specialists coming from this side. So you can actually make few research and you can actually get some information about how you can leverage, and you can also speak with Erwin also. He's also shared his contact for you to actually reach out to him about how you can leverage this technology. And he also gave us a link.
Thank you for that. But I would just tell a couple of, so like how happy farmers are. Actually, they used to be happy, but in the couple of past years, so like now we are not having the best times here in Europe. We have the Ukrainian war, which affects us a lot, and we have also like other internal problems. And farmers came to that it's huge protests are happening across Europe. So I would just recommend you to type in the search farmer protest Brussels, farmer protest Paris, and you're gonna see some at the same time very very like scary, but also in some way funny protests because it's massive and so agriculture is now really affected here. We had some it's many is invested in agriculture here, but the outcomes are not as expected, and now nobody's happy. So it's a relatively big crisis here. So
Yeah. Okay. Just a minute. Yeah. Okay. Trying to look for, yeah, this link that you can actually find on your screen. It's actually the link shared by Erwin, and if you would like to learn more information about Dyna Crop Space products, this would actually just copy this link or perhaps type this link out in your browser and you'll be able to get more information. Once again, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We are super excited to have you join us this. My time is afternoon already. And we've actually spent about 1 hour 50 minutes on this call with Erwin sharing with us valuable information and insights about how you can be able to leverage, use, apply satellite imagery, which we all call Earth observatory systems of technology. I'm always happy to learn about what they are doing and innovative use cases in the agricultural field. They also related to finance, related it to soil science, related it to crop monitoring, and even water. Truly, amazing. Thank you so much. When we are so grateful to actually have you share with us in this incubation program.
The pleasure was mine.
Yeah. Okay. So before we wrap up, you would like to actually share with us the last word on this presentation. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I would like to thank everyone to the questions also and for the attentions. The questions were really nice. My last words would be like for this presentation that I really appreciate Femi your work, and generally this is the way how it should be done. I mean, I'm seeing it from examples from here. It starts by education, so everything starts by education. I mean, I was now talking something totally different because we are living on different continents, we have different approach to the agriculture. But I really hope that at least you get a better vision like how precision farming can be done in other countries also with some real life experiences. And yeah, I encourage you all to integrate, to work together as much as possible, because like Rome was not built in one day. So sometimes it takes time, and sometimes it needs many people involved in it. So but yeah, and that's also how because like as I said, like Europe is very various. So in Europe you have really rich countries, and also at the same time you have really poor. And these ones, the ones who were late to those rich, they were transferring all the type of technology here. I mean, myself, I'm from Serbia, so this is a poor country in the southeast Europe where we had civil war 20 years ago. So the flowers were not here as it was in the Netherlands, but there are farmers and there are organizations very ambitious people like you who put together. They made educations, and from time to time, slowly it began to something that is optimal in practice. And use all the it's also many projects that are ongoing things. So when it comes to technology transfers from Europe to Africa and the big corporates, so try also to collaborate with them and get as much knowledge as possible.
So. Yeah. I mean, you actually made a profound statement. You said it starts with education, and that's you actually captured the motivation behind what we are actually doing with this incubation. It starts with education. We cannot things cannot suddenly change. We first must understand what we have, how we can leverage them, and you also mentioned technology transfer or knowledge transfer, which is very, very key. That is why we are actually here, doing our best to actually put this knowledge forward. So I want to appreciate you once again, Erwin, and I hope that we can be able to have more and more engagement in the future. Yeah, so thank you for coming again.
Thank you also, and have a great wish you a great day and a productive week.
I did too. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Good, 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 good. We're so happy to actually have Erwin share with us today. So tomorrow we're going to be having Saeed Aliu from Defaface. He's a geospatial uh, He's a consultant in the specialty of geospatial technology. He works around policy. He has done some quite amazing projects when it comes to agricultural policy, health, urban planning, and he wants to actually bring this knowledge to us about the application in rural development and agriculture. So, if you actually find yourself as an extension officer, rural development, food security, all of these issues are linked together. How can geospatial technology, analysis and technology help us in the field? He will be sharing with us from project his expertise, project experience, to you. So do not miss it. Tomorrow, if you're on LinkedIn, if you're also on the WhatsApp page and on our YouTube page, you would have seen that um, this program is actually scheduled already. So you can be able to register yourself and join us tomorrow. Tomorrow starts by 1 p.m. GMT plus one. That's Nigerian time to make it about GMT plus one. Wherever you are, join us by 1 p.m. or 1300 GMT plus one. Thank you so much. I would say we will drop the curtain for the close of today. Ciao.